Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope you guys got a chance to watch Fantastic Four. Just a heads up, I put up a spoiler-free and spoiler-filled episode or by review of Fantastic Four First Steps. If you want to go take a look before you watch the movie, or if you've seen the movie and you want to just see if I make sense or actually know what I'm talking about, you can also do that too. I thought today we can talk about the potential wasted villains of the MCU. Um, I think the reason why I want to talk about this is because I saw Galactus and I absolutely loved him in Fantastic Four. Um, no backstory was needed for this character. We just know his motivations and what he needs to do, and he has an eternal hunger and he needs to feed it, and that's it. That's all we needed. And it was a small little backstory, but that was about it. And it was enough for us to be like, "Holy crap, this guy's awesome." I think more so, what the best part is that they made him more live action in the sense of they gave him a body instead of a cloud. So that's what made it even more, I guess, appealing to us in that sense. However, um, I feel like throughout the MCU there was a lot of great villains that just didn't get their due, in my opinion. That could have been a lot better, and I also think it's partially Marvel's fault, but partially the audience's fault as well. One of the most I guess not complicated, but what is the word here? Controversial villains, I think, is Malekith from Thor: The Dark World, played by Christopher Eccleston. Um, he is probably one of the biggest characters in the Thor world in terms of villains as well. Um, I genuinely felt like watching the movie again just recently, like I thought he did a good job at playing whatever lines he had. The motivation, a lot of people said there was no real motivation, right? There's exposition of him just showing that he had beef with Odin, and I guess like it was a filler villain in that sense, even though there is much more to him in terms of character. But villain wise, he was a pretty good villain. He was evil. He had some pretty banger lines, I would say, and I think he did a decent job. Maybe not the best, maybe not the most well-rounded character development, but I think he was still a pretty good character in general for the MCU. However, could have been better for sure. But I feel like if they had just invested a little bit more, he could have been a well-rounded villain, like more of the other villains, of course. There's also Laufey, who I think played um, the side villain character really well. I don't think he needed that much of a story. Like, yeah, of course, there's a lot more backstory, there's a lot more history to him. However, I just feel like he played his character really well, and like he was a good side villain to Loki. I don't think you needed more than that, to be quite honest. Um, Darben, this was one character that could have definitely been a little bit better. It was just a typical she's evil for the sake of being evil situation, where in this case it kind of doesn't work, which I kind of felt like it kind of ruined the whole Marvel's experience. It just didn't work well in that sense. They could have given her a little bit more backstory. Like, yeah, her backstory is like her people were dying, Kree, and all of that, and now she wants to take revenge around the world. Fair, but I just feel like we could have gotten a little bit more motivation in order for us to actually feel for the character or actually understand the character's motivations as well. So I just feel like it just wasn't there. Um, Another one was Samuel Sturges, the leader, which kind of ruined, I think, both Captain America's debut and Captain America Brave New World. The leader is one of Hulk's greatest villains, and you casted Tim Blake as the leader, which is phenomenal, first off, and you just gave him a really, really shitty role. That's it. You just gave him a really shitty role, which ruined the entire experience for a lot of people. He is probably one of the smartest characters in the entire Marvel cinematic or entire Marvel universe, and you just made him look like just some guy who just happened to get things right and like kind of plotted in the scene. Like, it just didn't work. I'm sorry, it didn't work. The character design also didn't work. I don't know what was so hard of just keeping it normal and just giving him that big brain head that we saw. Again, dumb decision on the costume part. It took away from the actual appeal of the character as well. Another thing was, I don't know why we just didn't allow him to be the main villain of the story. Like, we didn't need the Red Hulk. And if we did need to have Red Hulk, like, maybe he should have been like not shown in the film. That would have also gotten people hyped when they saw it. Or like you kept him, Blake's leader, a little bit of a secret instead of, exposing him right away. There's just so many things they could have done better with this film, but they chose not to, and they just kept reshooting and adding things that weren't unnecessary. So in my opinion, he he should have been an amazing, amazing villain, and we just wasted his potential completely. Now there is potential to keep continuously bringing him back, but again, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Like, they have to really give him a good storyline, and it's not that hard. There's thousands of comics you can just take from and provide a good storyline from. So I don't know what they're thinking there. Dracoff, again, honestly, just not even really worth our time to be talking about him. Totally wasted. A lot of people thought Jan Rog, Jude Law from Captain Marvel, was a wasted villain. I thought he was actually a pretty good villain. I thought he was pretty decent. He hit his motivations pretty well to me. He played the role perfectly, and I think he was good. I don't know why people kind of hated on him. I don't know about that. Going on, Kang the Conqueror again. Looking aside from Jonathan Majors, I guess personal life issues, he delivered a phenomenal performance as King. He was menacing. He did a really, really good job. And I felt like it was the movie that just made him into a bit of a joke, which kind of sucks. And again, Ant-Man Quantumania made everybody a joke, which is what really, I think, pisses me off, because this movie could have been so, so good. I know a lot of people hate the fact that he was beaten by ants. However, it's totally, totally, totally fine. Like, it wasn't even he was beaten. He didn't even get, like, Ant-Man didn't technically kill him. He just kind of bested him and sent him into a deeper realm of the quantum realm, right? So realistically speaking, he wasn't defeated. He just got bested. He was just outsmarted, which is fine. That's a great way to continue and give us more of him later on. However, some of the lines, some of the stuff that he was in, like, it just didn't work. But when he was villainous, he was villainous. So again, complete wasted potential for Kang there. And then on top of that, I know with the Jonathan Majors issues and stuff, like, I understand that they had to kind of back out and like change everything. But however, the reality is like, you could have just recasted him. Nobody would have said anything. Yeah, some people would have been like, "Oh, this is so stupid." Well, okay, whatever, man. Majority of fans would have loved to see Kang come back. Majority of fans would love to see what Kang Dynasty had in store, and we're not going to get that, or we may get it if Kevin Feige decides to, but we're not going to get it just because of a couple of damn mistakes, right? I don't think people understand that Quantumania didn't fail because of him. It failed because it was a shitty movie. That's all it was. There was way too many cringy jokes, and one of the worst part of the films is the actual other villain that I'm going to talk about, which is Darren Cross. Darren Cross was absolutely menacing in Ant-Man. I was just rewatching it last night. This guy was freaking awesome. All right. His motivations were clear. He was betrayed by his mentor. He took over. He's evil. Although he wants to he has maybe a little bit of good in him, but not really. But it's more just a childish man just looking for approval. That's fair. That's fine. Most villains are. You turned him into MODOK, which isn't even comically accurate, because MODOK is to do with AIM and has nothing to do with Darren. But regardless, you turned him into that. Then you had that stupid scene with his ass cheeks out, and then you had him go back from being a villain, hardcore villain. I hate, number one hater of Ant-Man, to like, oh, I'm gonna help these guys. I think I'm a good person. No, we didn't need that. We really didn't need that shit. We could have kept it, and just, if you already messed him up by making him into MODOK, you could have just allowed him to be a villain for the sake of being a villain again. Number one hater. We already have his motivation. Ant-Man fucked up his life. Just let him do what he needs to do. Totally wasted potential. 100%. I'm sorry, but Corey Stoll deserved better. And if he just remained as Yellow Jacket, I think he would have been a freaking powerhouse of a villain for Ant-Man. If they had just brought him back for Ant-Man 3 or even Ant-Man 2, he's the return of the Yellow Jacket. He somehow managed to get out of the quantum realm. I don't even care how he does it. If freaking Paul Rudd's, Scott Lang could do it, I'm sure he could do it. He's smart too. So even if he came back for the second half of Ant-Man and the Wasp, I would have loved it because honestly, Darren Cross was a really good villain in Ant-Man. Wasted potential in freaking Ant-Man 3. Thunderbolt Ross, everything was great. He is bad for the sake of being bad. I think he was fine. Some of his decisions were like, okay, I guess that could work. But in all honesty, didn't really need it. Ivan Vanko, Whiplash, I'm not even going to talk about that. That was just a waste of our time. Absolutely. I think it was just Mickey Rourke. I don't know if it was the casting was the right casting. I just feel like he didn't care, to be quite honest. Uh, he really didn't. I don't think he gave a shit about the film. Yeah, I just don't think he gave a shit. So really, it's fine. Like whatever. I don't really give a crap about him. Some people will say Aisha was also a wasted potential, but I would say I think she was good. Played by Elizabeth Debicki from in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Her motivations were pretty outright from 2 to 3. I think she continued the story perfectly. So I think she did a really good job. I don't know why. Ghost was also another villain that could have been better. However, it turned into a hero, so we'll not really talk about that. I think they had a plan for her, and it worked. So good for her. Aldrich Killian was actually a pretty good villain. I don't think a lot of people liked him, but I think he was actually really good. I rewatched Iron Man 3, and I have to say he was actually pretty well done. Guy Pearce did a really good job bringing him to life. AIM, I wish there was much more about AIM. Hell, if they even turned this man into MODOK, I would have been fine. But they decided to go a different route, which is fine. But still, really good. I think he did a really good job as Aldrich Killian. I think that was great. Caecilius was another one. You kind of underused Madden Mikkelsen. He was a phenomenal villain, even for the little time that he had. I just feel like we needed more scenes with him. I think that was the wasted potential. And then for him to kind of like die out and not come back kind of sucks because it's Mads Mikkelsen. Like this guy's just freaking amazing, right? Like you can't Mikkelsen, right? Mikkelsen, yeah. You cannot just have this guy for one movie. He could have been so much better, so much better. Ronan was good. I don't care what anyone says. I think Ronan was good. The guy was just evil. He didn't give a fuck. He just wanted to kill people because he hated the whatever those guys are. He didn't give a shit. He's just like, I need to kill people, and that's all I need to do. And I respect it. He just needs to kill the Xandarians. Yeah, the Xandarians or the Nova Corps for killing their career or whatever. He was a man of great taste. Like he was like, yo, you mess with my people, even though I had nothing to do with this, but you still mess with my people years ago, even though we have peace treaty. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna come at you hard. So shout out to that man. Gore the God Butcher started off really well, but again, this had nothing to do with Christian Bale. This had nothing to do with the character. This was just poor plot. I genuinely think Taika Waititi messed this film up on purpose just for the freaking fun of it. He did not give a shit. And if you did not want to do this movie, and even if you're in a contract, you should have told them, been like, I don't want to do this movie. And then if they didn't listen, I guess this is what you deserve because you should have listened to him and not allowed him to do this movie. They ruined a really good character. Gore the God Butcher is a very well-known character in the MCU, and he is menacing, and Christian Bale did a phenomenal job bringing him to life. Unfortunately, the story just didn't work. It just didn't work the way we needed it to work. And he didn't get the praise and love that he deserved. And it was, again, wasted potential. And this was due to story, had nothing to do with the actor at all. Nothing to do with that. Mr. Paradox, I really couldn't care less. I thought he was good. Alexander Pierce, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. I think MCU villain wise, I'd rank him pretty high. I loved him. I thought he was good. He was, he played the super spy kind of Hydra Shield agent really well. Another one, Brock Rumlow Crossbones, absolutely wasted potential. I can understand why Frank Grillo despite a lot of the things that he does now, was pissed off about that. I just feel that he, again, could have been utilized more. They should have kept him alive. They should have kept him in more movies. They could have made him a villain at some point in the film. Stretched him out a little bit more. He would have been great. Crossbones is a great character. He's a well-known character in the Captain America universe. Well-known villain as well. Totally wasted potential. We got a really good introduction of him, but we just didn't. The landing just wasn't there, and that was again due to story and due to thing. And Marvel messed that one up for sure, 100%. The Abomination was good. I don't know about anyone else. I liked him. I thought Tim Roth did a phenomenal job. Honestly, he did a phenomenal job as Blonsky, and they ruined his post storyline though. I don't like what they did after. I felt like he should have just been the villain. Like his hatred for the Hulk should have just been there. Like he should have just came out screaming. I didn't think they needed him for She-Hulk like that. I don't know, man. I just feel like you don't need to. This whole idea of changing a villain to becoming a good person or whatever, or redeeming themselves needs to stop because it's just a fucking waste of time. We don't need villains that always have to redeem themselves. We need villains for the sake of villains. And freaking the Abomination could have been that, but they just kind of ruined it with him and She-Hulk. Again, no hate towards She-Hulk. I thought it was a great show. I just feel like that story was not needed in that story, in her storyline at the very least. Justin Hammer was good. I have nothing to say about him. I thought for the sake of being what he is, he's really good. I thought he was good, and played by, of course, Sam Rockwell. Come on, you don't get anything better than that. Grandmaster was good too. Jeff Goldblum absolutely killed it as him. I enjoyed his character. Ulysses Claus, I wish they gave him more because you had the talented Andy Serkis, absolutely phenomenal guy. Holy shit, freaking amazing. He was awesome in the 5 minutes he was in Age of Ultron. And he was awesome in the 5 minutes that he was in Black Panther. That's it. He was just awesome. I genuinely wish that they had kept him alive and not killed him. I understand the motivation was great. It was a good storyline for Killmonger, but you did not need to kill him. Still think waste of time. Namor was good. Namor was really good. This is one of the characters that didn't really have that much of a waste of potential. They did a really good job with Namor. Again, not good for the sake. He didn't turn good. He's still evil, but he's kind of good. He's kind of the anti-hero, so it works for me. Red Skull's motivations were amazing. Hugo Weaving, phenomenal, even though the guy hates the role and he thinks it was a waste of his time. He did a phenomenal job at it. But I do understand. I feel like I love the fact that they didn't let him die and we got to see him in Endgame. I thought it was a full circle moment, and I felt that his character was completed at the time, perhaps. But looking back at it, I wish there was more interaction between him and Captain America. I wish there was a little bit more dialogue. I wish there was a little bit more action. I wish there was a little bit more. That's all it was. I feel like there was wasted potential in that case. I feel like he could have been a lot more menacing, a lot more, his impact in the film could have been a lot more. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. But it was still good for the time that we did get. I know I said a lot more in the last few seconds. I apologize for that. But it was still good. But again, I think it was a little bit of wasted potential. He could have been so much more. I see it changed it up this time. So much more. The Void, great job. No notes. Honestly, Lewis Pullman did an amazing job. Friggin' phenomenal. One of the characters that I love so much only because of the actor, James Spader, Ultron. I thought he was great in Age of Ultron. I just rewatched it. I thought he was menacing. I thought he was great. I thought he was a great villain. The motivations were all clear. He was just Ultron for the sake of Ultron, and I absolutely loved it. I think they did a great job with him, but I just want more of him. I wish there was a way of bringing him back. I wish that we could have kept him a little bit somehow. But he did such a great job. James Spader brought that character to life, guys. Holy shit, he was so good. And his menacing voice, freaking amazing. A lot of people hated it in Age of Ultron when it came out, but if you really look back at it, it was a pretty damn good film. I don't know what people were saying, but it was actually a pretty good film. Cassandra Nova was really good as well. A lot of people also hated on her when it came out. And they're like, oh, it's not like, they're not I don't need it to be fleshed out. She's just evil for the freaking sake of being evil, and I absolutely love it. She was psychotic. Freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. Silver Surfer, Shala Ball. Again, this is not really a villain. I would say is more of an anti-hero. I already said this in my review. I thought she was good, so I don't think so. Hela as Kate Blanchett, great. I don't think there's any wasted potential there. She did a really good job. One of my favorite villains, one of the best villains in the MCU, in my opinion, Wenwu. Shang-Chi, that scene where he takes his kid into the bar and he beats those people up, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Totally solidified him as the Mandarin. Freaking amazing. Honestly, great. Shout out to Marvel for that one. I think it had to do with the director. I think his name is Daniel something. I can't remember. So shout out to him. Freaking amazing. Played by the talented Tony Leung. Phenomenal. Obadiah Stane, great too. He did a good job. Obviously played by the legendary Jeff Bridges. His villain could have been. They could have been a little bit more in that sense. Like I could have gotten a lot out of him. However, for the time that he was in, great job. Great start to the MCU in that part. Ego, Kurt Russell, great. He did a really good job. No questions there. Mysterio, again, great. Absolutely phenomenal. Jake Gyllenhaal killed it. I also loved the High Evolutionary. Chukwudi Iwuji did an amazing job. Amazing job. Great villain there, so no potential wasted. Valentina Allegra will be here for a while. She's still killing it. Killmonger, one of the best villains of the Black Panther series thus far, and one of the best villains in the MCU, I would say. Michael B. Jordan, phenomenally killed that role. Phenomenal job there. No wasted potential. Zemo was definitely wasted potential in Civil War. They kind of redeemed him in Falcon and Captain America, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, sorry. However, still wasted potential. I want more. I love Daniel Brühl as Zemo. I think he could have done so much more. We could have gotten so much more out of him. I wish they had given him a bigger role. And a comic book accurate suit, comic book accurate storyline. Again, nothing to do with the actor, all to do with the storyline here. This is all kind of, again, I want to reiterate, like, this is just MCU messing it up. Vulture, Michael Keaton, buddy, he's Batman. You ain't gonna get anything better than that. Okay, there's no question about it. Thanos was obviously the best villain of the MCU thus far. Norman Osborn as well. William Dafoe as Spider-Man. You need to find someone like William Dafoe when you cast Green Goblin in Spider-Man, which will eventually happen in Brand New Day, which I assume might happen in Brand New Day. They're gonna have to find someone. They're gonna have to find someone that's gonna really bring that character to life, just the way William Dafoe does it. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough shoes to fill, but the number one villain on a list that I'm looking at right now is Loki, and I have to say, couldn't agree more. The best character development, the best villain throughout the films, and the best hero in an unlikely sense. Like, absolutely amazing story there. So shout out to them for bringing that to life. But yeah, I know this was a really long video. I appreciate you guys for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd love to let me know what your ranking is, or what you think is the best, or where you think some villains succeeded, some villains didn't. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. So I'll catch you on the next one, and we'll talk soon.